Hello and welcome. You're watching this special Budget 2026 segment on NewsX called My Budget Wishlist. And joining us today is Subrahmanyam Pulipaka, the CEO of National Solar Federation of India. Now, I want to begin by asking you, what are your top 10 Budget 2026 wishlist moves?
So in terms of budget 2026 wish list, in line with the last three budgets, as renewable energy industry, we believe this budget will also be more greener. We have seen more emphasis on green energy in the last three budgets, and we are hoping that it will continue. When it comes to the major big ticket asks that we have been looking forward in this budget, first would be some kind of viability gap funding or incentives for energy storage integration. Already the government has announced VGF in the last two budgets, and most of it has already been awarded to states. But we have been making a request if energy storage related VGF can also be extended to private sector, so that we can quickly add more energy storage into the grid and help our grid and also utilize our transmission. This will be the first major ask. Second would be PM Kusum. Of course, 1.0 has been a huge success and it is coming to an end. So we are hoping PM Kusum 2.0 will also be announced in the budget with a significant amount of budget allocated to it. And as an industry, we've always been advocating if some kind of special provisions can be given to agrivoltaics, where you can use the same land for agriculture and solar in Kusum itself. So one can hope, or one is looking forward for some kind of mention of that in this budget. The third important wish list is for manufacturing. PLI 1 and PLI 2 have been announced and awarded for high efficiency solar manufacturing in India, and we are seeing some very good results on ground. Today, India is home to the second largest fleet of solar modules. We have crossed 100. We have crossed a century there also in terms of gigawatts. But we still need some kind of incentive to make India's manufacturing competitive in upstream, which is vertical integration. So we are hoping, and we also placed this request on record, if some kind of incentive can be given to polysilicon wafer and ingot. So this is something that the industry is looking forward to from this budget 2026.
Now, my second question to you is, we're building the biggest solar parks. 25 lakh people have signed up for rooftop solar. How do you think India has done so far, and what are the next priorities?
See, India's journey so far is nothing sort of a miracle, if you ask me, because India has shown to the world how not only we can quickly scale up renewable energy, but in this process, how we can make it affordable. Like I was mentioning before, our total installed capacity for solar energy is today at around 135 gigawatt, and our manufacturing capacity is also almost at the same. So the major progress of this capacity addition has come in the last 10 years itself. So it is not a understatement if I say that India's energy transition journey is an inspiration to not only developing countries or global south countries, but also the developed world itself. When it comes to our road ahead, I think we have to focus on two important things. One, of course, today transmission is the bottleneck of many developed countries in their power journey, in their energy transition journey. But India so far has done pretty good in transmission. They always say that there is no transition without transmission. And as an Indian, we should be proud that we are home to the world's largest high voltage synchronized grid. Going on, as we add more renewable energy storage into the grid, I think it would be prudent to focus more on creating seamless transmission infrastructure. That would be one key important element. The second aspect would be on distributed renewable energy. India's success story in renewable energy so far has derived from our utility scale plants and how we have been quickly able to scale up installations. But since 2 years, thanks to Prime Minister's flagship schemes of PM Kusum as well as PM Sweetagar, we're also showing the world how India can, show its progress and also create a template that is easy to use for more of global South countries. So PM Kusum 1.0 is at the verge of completion. PM Suryagar's 1 crore solar rooftop installations target is ambitious yet pragmatic, and we are already quarter done in that target, and we have next 24 28 months to achieve the remaining part of the target, which I am very confident we will be doing. So the second aspect India should focus as we go cruising towards our 2030 target of 500 gigawatt would be to focus on distributed renewable energy and also leverage the socio-economic impacts that distributed renewable energy will give to our common citizens in the country.
I also want to ask you now, how much of our solar generation capacity have we achieved, and is there room for more?
Yeah, in fact, one key development, if you have seen, India has achieved its NDCs, the nationally determined contribution that we have pledged in COP at Paris. We have achieved it 5 years ahead. So there, 50% of our total installed capacity today comes from renewable energy. So that is one checkbox we can tick. But we have many ambitious targets for ourselves. One of the intermediary target is 500 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2030. So today we are closer to 275 to 260, 275. So we have another 200 plus gigawatt to be added for achieving our 2030 target. Major part of this capacity addition in the next 5 years is going to come from solar energy. If I have to give you an estimation, we are going to add more solar in the next 5 years than we have added in the total installed capacity in the first 60 years of our independence. So that is the pace at which solar addition is going to happen. But we will not stop there. India also has a target, as Honorable Prime Minister envisioned, to become a developed nation, Vikasit Bharat, by 2047. And one of the key parameters for achieving or for becoming a developed nation on consumption side is your per capita electricity consumption, but that should be commensurately matched by generation. So I definitely see solar energy playing a prominent role in our 2047 target, which again is also intermediary because we have a much more bigger target in 2070, which is net zero. So by many estimates, there have been many studies that have been done. But if I have to take an average, we would be requiring at least, and I'm saying at least 5,000 gigawatt of solar energy by 2070. So have we done enough? I think we are just getting started. We will be, needing more solar energy coupled with storage in our grid to achieve our targets as we go by.
You know, I also want to talk to you about energy as a whole. Now, it is still a major expenditure item. How do we possibly reverse it?
See, it's a good question. And let me sort of zoom out and look at our major, consumption nodes of energy. We have electricity, we have industry, we have mobility, and we have agriculture. What we can see from the vision of the government and also the proactive role played by the private sector in electricity, the volume of electricity that is coming from renewable energy is slowly increasing. Today, as installed capacity, we are close to 50%, as I mentioned, but in terms of energy generation, we are hovering around 13 to 15% and 18%, which will eventually sort of go up to 50%. So that is one aspect. Now, the more renewable energy we are adding into the grid, the more affordable power is being added into the pool. So the total cost of our electricity is going to decrease significantly. This is on the electricity part. On the industry part, the electricity consumption of industry is again linked with electricity and generation, and renewable energy is definitely helping them reduce the cost. But in terms of their fuel consumption, apart from our green electrons of electricity, green fuels or green molecules are also going to play an important role. You must be aware, Government of India launched National Green Hydrogen Mission. So by 2030, the target is to produce 5 million metric tons of green hydrogen. So that in one way or the other is going to help us transition or decarbonize our industrial sector. At the same time, make it affordable because of the various provisions of the mission. Third, on mobility, a lot of things are being, explored. We are at the cusp of a EV revolution in our country, and as we go by, definitely the energy part of mobility also. As many people have also mentioned our import dependency on oil, natural gas, and how transitioning to e-mobility is going to bring that burden down. So that is the third facet of this. Fourth, on agriculture, there can be no better example than PM Kusum. Our agriculture consumption is also being slowly and steadily decarbonized with solar energy, with feeder level solarization, with solar pumps at the tertiary node of the grid, both on grid and off grid. So in a nutshell, we are in the transition of how our energy transition is helping us get to more affordable energy prices. The first step is electricity price, and then eventually, as an energy, if we look at coal, the next 2-3 years, there will be significant reduce in the burden on the exchequer when it comes to our energy prices. Thanks to renewable energy.
Thank you so much for your time on NewsX today.